like a bad news, okay? So, restrooms all the time when we get into the area. And got cashed our checks at the same time. Everything was done here in Wailuku. I used to joke around with my grandma. Any much more people in that area, that spot would actually sink. She would pinch my shoulder and say, watch what I was saying. Now, came one day where they didn't have enough reserve cash to cash out these checks. A lot of people thought they were working for free and the paper money didn't work. Now, our governor then, with your cell phones, to put them in airplane mode now. If you do it while we're in between the mountains, your phone will not work. I'll pre-warn you, give you enough time to get those cameras ready. You do want to take a video of it, or if you do the snapshot way, sometimes the cameras, the speed on the cameras won't catch up and you'll have spots of color. Whereas with a video, always lower than Hawaii. Then all of a sudden, I watch the news and it's like, okay, I cannot grumble. Everybody's doing the same thing. The gas prices are all going up. In Hana, there's one gas station. Our gas gets brought out to us Monday through Friday by a gas truck. And it's $2.50 more than what you see out here. Actually lasts way longer than cinder block or chain link fence. Plus it's kind of, it gives color, you know. All the boards have decorations. Now, over to the left, just inside where those coconut trees are, is the all famous Mama's Fish House. Fresh fish all the time, never frozen because of the open ocean just below the restaurant. Because of COVID, a lot of people now coming back to visit Hawaii or Maui, they're already making their reservations for lunch and dinner. So if you're here on the island trying to get reservations, you probably couldn't. They're all solidly booked until July.
Oh wow.
Known to the world, this area of the ocean is windsurf Mecca. Now, windsurfing was actually born here. The wind's gonna kick up and we might be able to see some action when we come back. Around this next bend to the left, this beach park is called Ho'okipa, or hospitality. Usually early morning board surfers come out, about 11:30 in the morning. Kite surfers, windsurfers come out, take over this beach. Now, we hold 2 World Cup surf meets in the summer, 3 in the winter. During this time, 5,000 individuals will cram this beach park, many of them spectators. Now, the waves can start from 5 feet, work its way up to 40 feet at times. Now, one more surf spot, I'll talk about it. We're not going to get to see it from the highway. It's in the area we call Pe'ahi. This surf spot is called Jaws, J-A-W-S. Now, the advance, 2 weeks before turning pro surfer, had gotten her arm bitten off by a shark, Bethany Hamilton. Now, even while she was in trauma bay, she kept asking when she could go back in the ocean. Now, before COVID started, there was talk that she was going to come here to surf Jaws. Many of us had the chance to go out and see. Now, the first 2 waves she took, she wiped out almost immediately. And She changed her board, changed her stance. She got up on the next two and rode it as well. I wish they would disregard this area here. Scary, you come around the turn that way.
Yeah.
Single lane bridges. By the time you get back to the south side of the island, you will have traveled 187 miles. So we already got started ahead. Now, Spaniards, they were the first to do any trading with the Hawaiian people, and they kept good maps of their nautical travels. Now, what they did trade was the black wild boar for fresh water. Today, because of this, we are allowed to hunt wild pigs every day if we wanted to. This is to control the pig population. And in 1920, somebody brought javelina. So we have mini interbreeding. We do not hunt for trophy. This is for food. Now, during the cover of night, the pigs go out and forage. During the day, they find a nice spot to go to bed. But sometimes we got piglets that don't want to go to bed, and they start to get out on the highway and lose their way home. So we usually pick them up, take them home, and once they know how to forage, we'll place them back into the rainforest. Now, for some places along the highway, watch these pickup trucks. They usually have metal cages in the back bed, and inside the cage to keep hunting dogs. If they make a pig kill, they place this on top of the cage. You're gonna notice some of these do not pass signs or no passing zone signs. Some creative person decided to block off some of the letters and spell what they wanted. I will apologize for what you see now, because you're gonna see some doozies. Now, we did report this to the Highway Division. They don't have any more signs to replace them with yet. Alright, here comes our first single lane bridge of 142. Now, these bridges can hold tonnage, so it's okay for two cars to come across the bridge at the same time. Bridges on the inside are smaller, so if anybody's in front of us, I usually let them get through first, and then I follow behind them. This area is called Kailua, and here in Kailua, the first Chinese immigrants went to work for Alexander and Baldwin. With homemade digging tools, sometimes plain hands, they help to dig the EMI system. Because of them, we collect 333 inches of rain per year from the highway. Between the highway and upper slopes of Haleakala, 478 inches a year. Now, all of this water again is collected in those canals, moved from here by gravity-fed segments up and over the mountain. Now, coming up over on the left, You'll see a lot of these trees in our rainforest, yet we don't have any sawmills. This is the twisted bark or redwood eucalyptus. Now, all of our building materials come from the U.S. mainland by barge. Now, as we get up on this next bridge, everybody look over to the right. You'll see a working part of the EMI system. As we leave the bridge, turn your eyes over to the left, okay? First to the right. Okay, to the right. Okay, swing your eyes over to the left. And then we have a hairpin turn coming. Everybody right, here we go. Slide over, baby. Look over to the right. This is what a bamboo forest looks like. Now, a lot of visitors will leave their cars up here alongside the highway. They'll make little holes in between the vegetation to get down there. The owner will be out here taking pictures of these cars. He's many times covered up these holes. You see them coming up the right, but people still go in there. What they're looking for, nobody knows. But even in the middle of the day with all the sunlight above our heads, going in between the bamboo, it's dark, number one. What looks like trails will not be, and sometimes they do get lost. When they get lost, a helicopter will fly over with heat sensors, and we saw some of this. They look like little mice in those mazes. Instead, they keep still, they keep moving. Now, all these people have no respect. There are no posted no trespassing signs. Okay?
Yep, private property.
Yep. And look,
Yep.
yep. So now if they get hurt, the property owner is 90 some years old. He's due to lose all of this. We're planning a time for us to go put back some of these wire fences.
Road. Hold my hand. Okay. Got it.
Even scientific names. Now they have to ask a lot of the people come from the area if the plant was useful, either to eat, to make something of, or was there a purpose. They also wanted to find out how these plants got here. Many of them traveled by seeds on the wind. Then because of hoofed animals brought into the islands, and their poo is what seeds actually germinated from. And of course, hitchhiking on our clothing. Now, because of all these invasive species, it's now crowding up and killing our natural plants. Plants we use to eat, make things from, or medicine. Now, you're gonna see sometimes these beautiful green trees with bright orange blossoms. These are invasive. It's called the African tulip tree. Although bright, beautiful orange blossoms, they smell like stagnant water. And before I went to school, I visited several of the trees and picked the unlooking buds. They look like bear claws with water in the bud. These trees here to the left, they look like they're dying. Purposely, we are trying to kill them back. And this is the African tulip tree. Now, I stuck my pockets full with these buds. When I got to school in secret, I'd snip the tips off, use them as squirt guns. To all those that I did squirt, by the time that they heated up, left them smelling like kitty pee-pee. African tulip. Now, I gave my grandma a run for her money growing up. And you know what? Grandma says, one day. It's all she used to say, one day. I know now what she means by the one day. 3 children, 9 grandchildren, 3 great-great-grandchildren. Yeah, and it's like a movie camera that I put in reverse. Yet it's not me, it's dead. I keep begging her, please don't tell them anything I did, because they're going to use it against me. She laughed. So down is this valley here to the left. I'd like for you to take notice of the light green trees that sort of shine above the dark. There's some on the ridge above our heads. This is our state tree. In Hawaiian, we call this kukui, K-U-K-U-I. English, it's the candle nut. Now the hard shells, dark black, dark brown, and white, we usually polish this and make jewelry out of it. Earrings, necklaces, bracelets, and anklets. They accommodate your aloha attire. The kernels are so very oily that we use this to make light at night. We'll take 7, dry it in the sun, and we'll string it up on a sennit that comes from the coconut tree. When it gets dried, or when it gets dark, we light the first kernel. The kernel will stay burning for up to a half hour at a time, working its way down the string of nuts. In Hawaiian, we call this kukuelepo, candle nut burning lantern. Now, in the old times, the candle nut, again, depending how you roasted it, was used as a spice. So that was our spices. Now, the kukui nut was used as a laxative, and today, because they squeeze all the oil and purify it from the nut itself, if you take too many or eat too many of the nuts or take too much of the processed oil, you're gonna find yourself sitting in the pot 3.5 weeks straight. Yeah. Now today, the processed oil, they use that to make hair care products, shampoos, conditioners. They also make lotion, and it's good for massage oil. Bamboo. Now, although we have the bamboo, we don't have the animals that feed on this. Now, the wood of the bamboo we use to make great fishing poles. It's the young bamboo under the stalk that we harvest up, use that as a vegetable in our stir fries.
Look at the bamboo over here. All up there, see it all swaying in the wind? Yeah.
Now, there was one day, I found a gentleman sitting on this rock wall on the right. He was chewing on something green and alarms went off in my head. I stopped, pulled over, I went over and talked to him and said, hey bro, are you enjoying what you're chewing? He goes, you know, this sugar cane is dry, it's hollow, it's so hard. I said, how much of that did you chew and swallow? He goes, I just got started. I said, throw that away. It's not sugar cane. That's a piece of bamboo. Have you ever had a splinter in the palm of your hand? It hurts, right? You gotta take it out. Anytime bamboo goes under the skin, it stings. So you gotta take it out right away. If left overnight, you're gonna start infection. Now imagine if that bamboo splinters was all over his lips, in his gums, on his tongue, and down his throat. Sometimes I don't know why people put things in their mouth. They have no idea. Now, we just got over inkberry season, INK. These look like yummy blackberries in the tree. Gobs of them. And I mean, even the birds know not to eat it. Yet we see people walking around with purple stains on their face, in their mouth, on their nose. No sense saying anything already because it's happened. But those stains go deep into the pores. They don't come off for 3 months. Hairpin turns smaller. sometimes, depending on how the stain is, I guess, imprinted in their face, I cannot help but take a deep breath, turn around, cover my face, and laugh because it's too late to say anything.
Oh, baby.
Is Cracker Barrel whitish?
No.
You know, the African tulip, they have seed pods, and one pod can hold at least 1 billion seeds. Find something else that has nice orange colors, not those. Now, this small tree here to the left, the bigger one coming up on the left, these are albizzias, very pretty growing, but softwood. Now, the highway division on Oahu use the trees to decorate or beautify our highways, H1, 2, and 3. But it only takes one big gust of breeze to blow the whole tree in the road. Ours is safe, they got rid of theirs. Now, these vines climbing up the side of the tree is the split leaf philodendron. We have whole leaf, double and tricolor. It also has its own vines. See the brown vines hanging? You're gonna find people who will grab hold of these vines and thinking they're gonna play Tarzan. By the time their weight gets pulled off what they're standing on, off the ground, all of those vines will come tumbling right down on them. So when you see that happen, watch, just watch.
Where do you stop? What? What's the matter? What's the
I'm
matter?
just asking, trying to ask you.
Oh, yeah.
No, leave her alone. She's driving.
Now, you know, see the big truck coming around?
Yeah.
This is why we have these no parking signs. And usually we got people disregarding. They go over that cement blockade just to go swimming there. And sometimes these trucks, and there's a bigger one that brings gas in, sometimes they run late. They need this whole area to make the turn. And the people is in there. We gotta go look for them physically. Couldn't believe the truck made this bridge. You know, that opened up through a rainstorm. We're gonna have to close that down. So we're gonna bring in boulders, fill in that area.
Why are you guys closing it down?
That wasn't supposed to be there. It was a fluke thing that opened up because of storms. And it's not safe to be in. People leave their cars on the highway next to the no parking signs. It becomes hazardous. So the only way to do it is to cover it all up.
Yeah.
And this goes with the local people also, because when they start, everybody else is gonna follow. And they, you know, the visitors don't know any better. But yeah, when the police gets ticket happy, 2 of them goes on each side of the road and just tickets. Like the valley floor is flat, yet it's not. Many people actually fall the 30 feet down to the valley floor because of these streets. Now this is that one area I told you about. It's not supposed to be a stop, but the signs that we did put up, somebody just keeps taking them down and throwing them away. Now look out there to the right. See those folks?
Mega Drive.
There's a little waterfall in the back. Sometimes gets big, but it's a collection hole for the water. There's an empty point on the bottom of that hole with a grate on it. And sometimes the waters move so fast. People are in there swimming. They get stuck thinking they're gonna swim under the waterfall. The water holds them down. They actually look like cheese coming out the other side of the grate. Yeah, I think 8 times I put big signs, you know, no stopping, no parking, and somebody's pulling them all up. We think it's local people. headed down to the ANAE Peninsula. If you look between the plants here on the left, that's the peninsula there. And I'd like to first make a stop at Auntie Sandy's hot banana bread stand. Now they made themselves famous with these mini loaves. They don't put any nuts or eggs in it. They found a lot of people to be allergic to it. They do raise the apple bananas on their property, which is included. They also have a fruit smoothie, strawberry, banana, and pineapple. They have other things as snacks that you might want to make a purchase of. And we're going to do that stop first. So if you want to purchase something, we'll stand in the line and then make your purchase, bring right back to the van. You can enjoy while we are moving in the vehicle. Oh, yeah. Okay, look over to the left. Alright, so down below us on the left, this is Honolulu Bay, which means bird bay. Although we don't have the birds that once lived above the bay. In ancient times, during molting seasons of the birds, the Hawaiians would come out with nets and capture them. They pluck off the feathers that would fall and turn the bird loose. All the many colorful feathers that was collected was then woven into capes and headdresses that once adorned our late kings. These were called pihes, K-I-H-E-I. Today, they're on display at the Bishop Museum in Oahu. Now, we still, as a culture, fish the same way we did in the old times, except instead of the whole village, we take it by family. Now, the village chief sometimes would say he wanted just a specific type of fish to eat. And although there's many different kinds here, only that one specific type was caught. Now, see what these people are doing? We don't never want to do that. Okay? One wrong move and it's aloha time. Now, we had nets that we would take from the fiber of this one vine. It's not here, but before lunch I will show you those vines. And we would let this shark in. Now the shark could also feed, but it was splitting up the big fish balls to something more manageable. Now, we only caught enough to feed ourselves daily and our families or village. If we caught too much, that would then be used to feed the village next to you. So today we do this family style. If you caught too much, you end up feeding the families right next to you. Side, although they depend on the same fish that we eat. They have smaller nets now that capture everything, and even the females that lay eggs. Now, they don't capture to feed themselves with. They overtake to actually make money. They sell it out in the city. That's the difference between they and us. Even if we try to educate about how to keep this, regenerating, they have to put a stop. So they only can fish in our area, but in deep water. Get hurt now. There was one lady, looked like she was in her late 70s, early 80s, had a hard time climbing over, but she did. Then she picked the wrong place to stand at. Had this one young man not been there, he grabbed her by her hair before she went down.
Oh, wow.
Just like, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding. Yep. So the state thought people would just use, you know, that common sense and stay behind. But I guess not. I'll show you what I mean. That was really, really scary. Over here to my left, that's where the lady almost fell. I couldn't see her. She cut the corner. I actually beat her home. When she got home, I was making me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm thinking, why camp here? I come from the area. Plants, just eat it. Stems and leaves, we cook up like spinach. We use that in our soups. The corn of the taro, most of the time, can grow in dry land, but this one's out here is all wetland taro. We steam or boil, and we pound this down to a sticky consistency, almost like pudding. This we call poi, P-O-I. That can be kept without refrigeration for a long, long time. Now, wonder why the Hawaiians were kind of healthy people? Big but healthy. Because the poi was not kept in refrigeration, there was a light mold on the top that was penicillin to us. All we did was put a little bit more water in the bowls and then kahi or turn it so that it will mix. Now, we're gonna be here on the right. Please nobody come from anywhere behind us, okay? We're gonna go around the bend here after we get a chance to use the restroom. And we're gonna get a chance to go visit. So, to take a short dip on the way out at a freshwater pond similar to this, okay? Okay, boys. Depend on the blossoms to feed, and bug eaters also depends on the bugs on that tree. Now, these numbers are dwindling, so what we caught to send to the mainland so they can help us create more birds. We gotta find out what's killing these trees. I think it's a virus of some kind. Now, once we get those numbers up again, we'll go ahead and send the birds back so we can take them back in wild. But we still gotta figure out what's up with these trees. Now, around the next bend, I'm gonna go towards the right. There is traffic behind me. Okay, I go to the right, you look out to the left. Ready? Go.
It's right there, brother.
Okay, so the right side, as we get up on the bridge, look out your window, you're gonna look straight down. This pond has never been a swimmable one. People actually see this, jump in without thinking, all the way come out. These ponds are, walls are flat and slippery when wet, okay? Now, I came through this area once and there were a couple there treading water for over an hour. See, I was not the only one. Quick, look out, look down.
Yeah. Oh, there's people in there. Oh. couple people in there. Yep.
They don't mind you slow, but you gotta keep moving. Now, left side, look out, look down. Now,
Oh.
now when we come back, these will change sides, so both sides will get to see. I'll try and make sure we're back there with nobody behind us, that we can kind
Oh,
of
okay.
stall.
Staying on the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see it on the way back. Okay, here comes a hairpin turn, lead right. Here we go. Yeehaw. One child's wrist attached to the next child's foot till I had all 18 sitting right in front of me. I knew when to expect Grandma, so I cut them loose. No marks on the hand. They never did tell Grandma what I just did. Now she comes home and the first thing she does is count heads. She turned around and said, "Wow, I didn't believe it, but you got all 18 sitting in front of you." She goes, "Well, I'm gonna use you again as a babysitter." That never happened. Before the thought came in her head, I was gone. Now, when we get up on this bridge, look over to the right between the trees. You're gonna see this waterfall, actually the top of it. Now, this is one of 3 aqueducts. We collect the rainwater. That then will go through filtration, and then we send it out to the different communities. People will see this waterfall and attempt to go out there to go swim. Well, by the time they get there, there's a 30-foot barbed wire fence. Big sign on it that says private property, no trespassing, no swimming, drinking water. They will not take no for an answer, yet climb over the fence. They'll get stuck on the top. The only way off is to cut off their suit. Before the bridge, there was a lot of tree plants. Not anymore. They actually would break these just to cover up to run to the car. We now call this Adam and Eve. If you look at the needles from the inside branch to the out, the needles clump, so you can identify that tree from far away. Now, if you get a chance to visit the HULI National Park, just inside the main park entrance, over to the left, there's a place called Hosmer's Grove. If you want to go bird watching, that's where you want to be. But they did bring in a lot of the pine trees there that they planted to hold soil in place. These pine trees are not native to Hawaii. These people here, they raise a lot of landscape plants. They do a lot of fruit, vegetable, and flower farming. This farm here to the left, they usually supply the big hotels for all of those nice floral arrangements as soon as you get in the foyer. double single engine prop lanes, land and takeoff. All of their instructions come from the HULI airport. Oh, they are getting ready to go to lunch.
Watch out, baby. These are stairs.
The Hyatt's taking it over to manage, but we demanded they bring the original name to the hotel back. These rooms, they don't go out for rent per room. It's per person. They had a sale this winter, $997 a day. Regular price, $2,500 a day. The Catholic Church of St. Mary's on the Hill. Across the street, the Wainanalua Congregational. This church was built in 1838, and we still use the church on Sundays. Okay, cousins, don't blink your eyes. You're about ready to pass through Hanatown. Blink your eyes, you're gonna miss it. Here on the right, this is our post office. We have one bank in the whole area. Bank hours, Monday to Friday, 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Closed Saturdays, Sundays, and on holidays. Now, up in these big trees, a friend of mine planted all these orchids. Orchids is sort of like an air plant, and it doesn't take too much water for it to actually get water to hydrate. you're going to see on the right, on the hill, is the headquarters to the Hana ranch system. They raise beef cattle here. Now this strip of property all on the left now belongs to Oprah Winfrey. She had a project she was trying to start. Apparently it didn't go through, so she continues to lend it to the Hana ranch system. For all the newborn calves, this is where they stay until they get sure-footed, then we'll put them back into the herd.
Get up, baby. Ricky, get up.
Frigate shorebirds. Hawaiians call this iwa. Now, they have wingspans, much like a buzzard. We don't have buzzards in Hawaii. They usually like to live in between the deep channels between the islands. Anytime they come close to shore, they'll not land on land. They'll keep flying in circles. And this is to warn us that rain is soon coming. Now the shadow, there's some birds just above our heads. When you get out, you can see that. The shadow of the bird on the ground make people run for cover because they think Jurassic Park forgot all their pterodactyls. Now, you see that open sign? Right in front of us? That's where I'm gonna go get my chicken. And if you wanna come join me, you may. Just remind yourself that they only take cash. Okay, this is your lunch.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, left side. 1, 2. Alright. Now we're gonna have lunch across the street from this property on the left. This was once owned by the Kunitz family, the original makers of Neutrogena products. This was their summer home. 5 months ago, somebody bought the property. They put up no trespassing signs. So we ask that you stay on the far farm and don't make the attempt to come out on this road to take pictures. You're going to see how fast cars will move. They're not looking for you. With one step, he stepped over his wife, laid down in the aisle. So I asked what happened. She was giggling so hard. She hardly could say that he's afraid of heights. That is what we call Punanaleo o Maui. After they graduate that school, they go into kindergarten to 12th grade, Kulatai o Puni. Now, hopefully, if they go on to college and graduate, they become hopeful teachers to this school. Now, in the background, the Hotel Hana Maui, there's a 3-hole golf course indicated by a red flag. Now, just so that, you know, our seniors could like socialize, we brought seniors from outside, and they spent 3 days here for a golf tournament. Took all 3 days.
Maybe I'll just sit right here.
It's a nice breeze over here,
Shade.
right? Brian, say hi. Look out, Bubba.
Just having
I don't know.
fun.
Do I need a flashlight?
Can you quit kicking me? Please, thank you.
What's new?
All you gotta do is concentrate on the road, but he's trying to look at me from in his rear view mirror.
Ellie, what's your sister's name? What's Ellie playing right now?
Okay, left side. Look out the window, look down. So you're gonna get a chance to take a dip in something similar, okay? Alright, so no cars there. That means nobody's walking out that holds. Okay, so we're gonna visit the Wayside Park. The word Pua'a, P-U-A-A, is a pig. Ka'a, K-A-A, means a car. Put it together in English, pig car. Why? I don't know.